Do you find that people have hesitations? And if so, what are people's hesitations when it comes to investing in pieces that are going to be with them for a long time versus something cheap and right there?
Yeah. So I think perspective matters, right? So some people, I mean, we don't all have the same resources. So there are people who can invest $500 in a pair of boots. And for some people, economically, it doesn't make sense because they're still trying to make rent, they're trying to pay for groceries, they have other responsibilities. And so that is there. And I think that needs to be addressed, that not everyone is in the same economic position. I think the second hesitation that someone would have, let's say if the resources aren't an issue, is one, the way they were raised. I think the way we are raised to view buying for ourselves, whether it's a nice car, whether it's for our home, whether it's the clothing, if we were taught that these are wasteful, that it is vain, that it is materialistic, that you're doing this to appease others, for the approval of others, you are feeding into capitalism and this, consumer culture. If they were raised with a negative perspective on wealth and spending on themselves in this way, that is a hesitation and that is a block, right? Because they were taught for many years that this was wrong. And then now someone is coming along and saying, hey, you should invest $500 in a good pair of shoes or a work bag that will last you for years to come. So, the first is not having the resources. The second is the mindset around whether or not that is appropriate or inappropriate, right? If I were to talk to some people, they would say, hey, I do have the money, but why would I spend it on shoes? I could donate it to this organization. I could, invest it in my children. And so, the first two things are those. The third is if they have other responsibilities like children, or if they are a caretaker, there's guilt around spending on themselves, particularly for women who feel, oh my gosh, like I need to buy these things for my children. I need to make sure I can sign them up for the summer camp or whatever it is. And so having those responsibilities. And there's so many reasons, and I could just kind of keep rattling them off, but the fourth reason is not being confident in the choice. So if I have the resources, I'm willing to spend it, but I am afraid that I'm not going to buy the right things, then I will hesitate investing in it because I am not confident in my choices. And that's where a professional can come in and offer that guidance, right? And with that comes trust. They have to trust the person, they have to trust the product to feel comfortable enough to know that, okay, I'm making the right choice. And once I do acquire this investment piece, it's not going to just sit in my closet forever, right? So, do I need it? Is there a lifestyle or professional need for it? Is this the right choice? Or am I just going to be stuck with it? And now I feel bad because I've spent money on something that I really have no need for, or I don't know how to wear. Because that's another thing. People need to know how to wear. And you've worked in retail, so you can buy a one-off dress or top or bag, but if you don't know how it fits in with everything else, it can be a challenge and there's guilt around that. So there's, a bit of uncertainty. There's some mindset reasons for that and trust. Because we are learning to trust others who are guiding us, but we are learning to trust ourselves because oftentimes there's like that identity piece that comes in. Who am I? Can I do this? And should I be doing it? So I would say to answer your question, there are a multitude of reasons for why someone would be hesitant in investing in a piece that potentially could last them longer. It could save them time from having to shop and replace.
Mhm.
It actually saves them money, which they
Mhm.
don't realize because they're not constantly buying new things every time, the button up top getting washed and ruined and it doesn't last. So there's a lack of awareness as well.